Okay, sorry. We're up to the Mishnah, Kufta Zayin Amid Beis. Got a lot of history here. Quite an interesting machlokes in the history. About the Bnei Slavchot. So just to reacclimate ourselves. So Bnei Slavchot died, and he had no sons. So up until that point, there was nobody to yashin him. The girls did not have Yerusha. So the girl said, why should we lose out? So because of that, there became this concept, I don't know, because of that, but through that, or combined with whatever it is, the Torah ends up saying that girls can yarshin their father. So that was B'nai Slavchad. Now Slavchad had what was Slavchad's father's name? What is it? Chaver, right? What was his name? Chafer? Hold on. Chafer, right? Chafer. Yeah, thank you. So Tzlafchad had a father, Chafer. So now basically these B'nai Tzlafchad were going to yarshin their father because the father had no sons. They were also going to yarshin their grandfather, meaning their father's portion of their grandfather Chafer's Yerusha, right? And their father was also, Tzlafchad was a Bechar. So they were triple charging, triple dipping, right? So that's what the Mishnah says. And then the Mishnah is going to get, and then the Gemara. What?
When did their grandfather die?
Oh, so that's part of the Shiloh. When did the grandfather die? Meaning the grandfather died somewhere in the, what do you call it? The grandfather, it's sometime, I think because everybody that died in, because of the, what do you call it? The Meraglim.
The grandfather died before the father?
In the Midbar, yeah.
So
I have no idea. I don't.
So their father had his father's stuff already, so they're not getting it from their grandfather, it's their father's. Well, what does it have to do with the grandfather?
You're saying the father already yashin the grandfather? That's what you're saying?
That's what I'm asking. I mean,
yeah, it must be that the father died before, and then the grandfather died after.
But we don't know that.
How do you know?
Otherwise, it's right. It has to be that the father died. What wasn't even the location Eitzim? Wasn't Slavka the one that died because he did something? Right, he was Mekashish Eitzim.
Yeah.
Isn't that a machlokas what it was?
Why can't you say he died first and then his father he died in his father's lifetime?
Why should you say that? Just to fit your Gemara? If you don't know, then you don't know. If you know, fine. If you don't know, then what? But
I don't know. I don't know the history of it. Does the Rashbam say?
They both died in the Midbar. They both left Mitzrayim and died in the Midbar.
they were in the Midbar for 40 years, David.
I know that. Thank you.
Okay, good. Because you went to Yeshiva in Manhattan.
No, I have the English art scroll here.
No, I'm saying it doesn't say in the history all these long Rashbams. Sounds like from the Rashbam that Chafer died first.
What's the Shiloh? Then she's only inheriting the father. Then you don't learn that she inherits the grandfather. That the daughters inherit before the other brothers.
Yeah, look. If you look at the Rashbam, the Rashbam Dibur Masel Chalkoim Ache Benichse Chafer. It's the third Rashbam in the Mishnah. He says the Chafer Yatzim Mitzrayim. They took their father's chelik, levad chelik atzmon, shegam hem yotzim mitzrayim. Meaning the kids had their own. The kids had their own, right? And they also had their fathers, right? And then hem yotzim mitzrayim ubenoi sochot kiblu chelik avian minichsi chever. The Shasha Cholko Achet Slavchad Nachlas Avian Beinein. The Basa ben Harehu b'mokem ben liyara shema'achin k'digatani el kol hakanim v'nachli yotzirecha. So I don't know exactly when it happened, but it seems like they yashined it at two separate times, right? Yeah, right. So that's anyway. So I'm not sure when exactly this all exactly historically, but it seems like it was two different Yerushas or Baron. That's what it seems. But anyway, so the Mishnah says, the Mishnah is 4 lines up from the bottom, Kuf Tezayin Amabes. Benoit Slavchad Natu Gimel Chalaka Benachla. Benoit Slavchad took three portions of the Nachla. So they went from 0 to 60, basically, is what the Mishnah is saying.
Well, they really had 4, but it doesn't make a difference here. So it says 3. The Rashbam says they really had 4.
Yeah, okay, but it
makes no difference here, so we don't talk about it.
Well, I don't know. That makes no. I mean, does
It
it make no?
It doesn't affect the case.
It means 3 times.
No, but I'm saying, and there was a
4 portions. You're saying 4 portions.
I'm saying there were 4 portions, but it doesn't affect the case, so we don't mention it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So B'nai Slavcha Natul Gimel Chalak when I took 3 portions. Chelak Aviyen Shehaya im Yoytzim Mitzrayim. Right. So the Chelak Aviyen that went out from Mitzrayim. Right. That's the regular Chayfer's Chelak. The Chelkoi im Achim B'nichsei Chayfer. Right. And the Chelak of his brothers with Nichsei Chayfer. That's the second one. And then V'shaya Bechar, so Noitel Shnei Chalakim. Since he was the Bechar, so they take 2 Chalakim from amongst their brothers.
Yaakov, what is, I don't know, but what does the word Nachla mean?
Inheritance.
Metaltalin means they got the cash of their father in the Zaydi, because there's no land yet. I'm obviously wrong. I just thought Nachla meant.
No, Nachla means land.
So then what kind of land you're talking about?
No, I understood it's interchangeable, but I don't know.
Okay.
Just means inheritance, doesn't it? Whatever it could be. It could be
That's what
fortune,
I thought.
it could be land. Whatever is the father's, they can inherit.
Okay, if that's what Nachla means, fine.
That's what I understood, that Nachla means that. Yeah. So anyway, so those are the 3 things, yeah. So now, so Zok Gemara. So now we have a 3-way machlokes in the Gemara. Historically, how did they give out land in Eretz Yisrael? 2 of them are pretty straightforward. The third one can get a little confusing. Yeah. So Tanan on Amar Aleph. Tanan command Omer liyotzim mitzrayim nischal ka'aretz. Our Mishnah seems to be going with the shita that says that they split up Eretz Yisrael based on who left Mitzrayim. Let's just discuss it outside first before we do it. Meaning, how when everybody left Mitzrayim, is that every person left Mitzrayim now is entitled to get it's like the early bird special. If you left Mitzrayim, right? If you left Mitzrayim, then you're entitled to a piece of Eretz Yisrael. That's one shita. Pretty straightforward. That means even if you didn't make it to Eretz Yisrael, even if the guy died,
nobody did.
Well, almost nobody, right?
Nobody over the age of 20.
Right. Only right. Yeshua and Kalev, and the kids under 20, right? And the kids under 20. So the kids under 20 didn't have a chelik though. It gets complicated exactly how it went down, but that's the first. That's the first sheet is that every person leaving Mitzrayim had a portion in Eretz Yisrael. The second sheet had nothing to do with people leaving Mitzrayim. It had to do with anybody who went into Eretz Yisrael. Had nothing to do with Mitzrayim, right? But it has to somehow still involved, and it kicks back, which we'll get to. What? Yovel, everything resets. Correct, but who? Original fee exactly. Yeah, then that would all, like parents are saying, that it would all kick itself back to it kicks itself back to Mitzrayim. Yeah. Okay, and then the third sheet is going to be, it's a combination of the 2. That's on Amud Bey. So let's see. So our Mishnah L'chayra sounds like it goes with those that left Mitzrayim, because Chayfer was dead before they got into Eretz Yisrael. So why are his granddaughters, the Bnei Slavchad, getting his chelik if he never made it into Eretz Yisrael? So must be our Mishnah goes with the Shitas that say that it's when they left Mitzrayim, right? The Tanya Reb Yoshia Omer L'Yotzei Mitzrayim Nischal Ka'aretz. The land gets split up Lefi Yotzei Mitzrayim. Shenemar meaning Eretz Yisrael gets split up based on the Yotzei Mitzrayim. Why? Because it says in the pasuk, the Shmois Matos Avaisam, I'm sorry, Yinchalu. The fee, the Matos Shvatim of their fathers, they inherit. Right? So everything is based on what they were before they got into Eretz Yisrael. Okay, so Elamani Mekayim La'ela Techalek Oretz Benachla. So what do you do with the pasuk? To these, they're going to give out the Eretz Yisrael. Meaning, the first pasuk says L'Shemas Matas Avaisam Yinchalu. It's just based on the shvatim from the father when they left Mitzrayim. It didn't say they had to actually go into Eretz Yisrael, right? So they're okay. So then it's when they left Mitzrayim. So then once the next pasuk is La'ela Techalek Aretz Benachla. So that sounds like the La'ela Techalek Haaretz with the Nachla sounds like once they go in. So Gemara says La'ela. We got the wrong Cholamoid for this next Gemara. Ka'ela. Right, right. Koela, it would be Pesach. It would be Pesach. We'd be on the ball with this, but it's not. Right? Even though everybody's looking forward to hearing that Koela by the Aliyah and on Cholamoyed, but yeah. Anyways, so Loela means Koela, like these. What does that mean? Like these? Like they're over 20. Loitzi has a tfalim to exclude the tuffle. Tuffle meaning from the word taf, children. It comes to exclude those that are children. That's the first reason. So Rabbi Yoshia holds it goes, and our Mishnah seemingly goes like Rabbi Yoshia, which means that it sounds like it goes with those that left Mitzrayim. Rabbi Yonasan Omer Lebaya Oretz Nischalka Oretz. The Eretz Yisrael was given out to those that actually made it into Eretz Yisrael. Shenemar La'ela Techalek Oretz Benachla. Okay, so then what's he going to do with the other pasuk? Elamani Mekayim L'Shemos Mata L'Shmois Matos Avoisam Yinchalu, that they go according to the names of their fathers. This nachal is different than every other nachal in the world. Shekol nachal shabaylam chayin yarshin mason. And all in normal inheritance, live people inherit dead people. V'kan mason yarshin chayin, and here the dead are yashining the live, right? Meaning, after they gave out the chalokim for Eretz Yisrael, then they kick it back to whichever their fathers were who left Mitzrayim, and then they resplit it. What does this mean? Amar Rebbe. So Rebbe said, you know you're in trouble when the Tanoim feel they need to tell you a mashal to explain a Gemara. Right? So he says, you had two brothers, Kahanim, that were in one city. One of them had one son, and one had two sons. So you have two brothers, Kahanim, one had one kid, one had two kids. And they went to the Geirin. Now they go to the Geirin, to the threshing floor, and that's where they get the matnas kahuna. So one kohen who has one son sent his one son, and he got one portion. And the one that had two kids, each one took their own chelik, right? So 3 kids there were 2 fathers who were brothers and 3 kids. Each kid got the same portion. Right? And then they would go back to their fathers, and then they would split it up equally, meaning, so they sort of milked it, right? Meaning, it went back to the fathers, so the father with the one son is going to gain than the father with the 2 sons, right? Because they got 3 portions. Then the portions went back to the fathers, and now the fathers are splitting it. So the father with 1 kid is getting half, and the father with the 2 kids is getting half. So that means that the one with
it should have been 5 chalokim.
Because the one with one kid should be taking for himself and his father. Why is it called a nachla? It's truma. Since it's truma, each
How old's the
cut
kid? How old's the kid?
13.
I don't think so. I was by Zup Sharon. He was not 13 yet.
Because you're showing your age. So okay, so if it wasn't there, they weren't okay. So then yeah, I don't okay. So good. Okay, so say they weren't bar mitzvah. Okay.
Whatever it is, I don't think they weren't going to get if they were going to get their father's halakim, fine, but they weren't. They weren't. They were going to get their own, and then it goes back to the fathers. All right. So basically what it is that it was each person going into Eretz Yisrael got a chelik, but that chelik was based on their inheritance from their father. So if you had the more kids you had, the more you ended up losing out, right? I think to the ones that had less kids. That's the way I understand it, right? Fine. So that's shita number. That's shita number 2. What?
I mean, the way we understand it, all 600,000 got the same, whatever the Eretz Yisrael divided by 600,000. When they got there, well, somebody who had left over can now 12 kids, so they got those 12 boys had to split and somebody had one kid got it. So what you say? Yeah, it's what you're saying, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's I think that's the disclaimer here. I think that's the yeah. So anyway, that's shita number 2. Shita number 3, Reb Shimon ben Elazar Omer on Talmud Beis now. La'elu nischal koretz. It was split both ways. Also, Stam is interesting. Stam, there's a long taisus, as we see, very long taisus. So exactly how this went, the second shita machzirin etzel aviyin v'chayzim v'chalkim b'shava, right? Meaning, how far does it go back to the fathers, the grandfathers? You ever see the Rashbam? Pirish chumish berash pirish Rashi. The pirish chumish pirish Rashi is the first words of the taisus. He's quoting Rashi ala Torah. Right? I don't think that's too common that we see that happens. Right? So he says the machzirin etzel avi aviyan v'roitzel lefarish adam sheyotzim mitzrayim v'loishnei. Okay, and then he goes through the whole calculation. Anyways, okay, that was the Tosis and Shita number 2. Okay, so Shita number 3 is La'elu Nischal Koretz. It was split both ways. Kedei L'kayim Shnei Mikroyes Alolo, in order to be Mekayim both these psukim. So now what does that mean? There was split based on those that left Mitzrayim, and it was split based on those that go into Eretz Yisrael. So Hakeitzad, what's the case? How you might see Haya Miyaytze Mitzrayim. If somebody left Mitzrayim, he took his chelek from those that left Mitzrayim. Meaning, if he was 20 when they left Mitzrayim, so he's going to get a chelek in Eretz Yisrael, right? But if he died, then it goes his kids yashin it, right? Meaning, even if the kid was less than 20 at that time, the kid yashins it. And if he was from the people that went into Eretz Yisrael, then he takes his chelik with those that went into Eretz Yisrael. Meaning he was less than 20 when he left Mitzrayim, and he made it into Eretz Yisrael, so he also gets it. Mikan or mikan, but let's say he was zeicher to both. He left Mitzrayim, and he also went into Eretz Yisrael, then noitel chelka mikan or mikan, then I don't know if this means he gets a double. It sounds like it. He's getting two chalakim, right? So noitel chelka mikan or mikan. He takes from both sides. Right? Meaning, so it sounds like that they this is the way I understand it. That means they had different portions of Eretz Yisrael. Right? Sounds like they had some portions for those that left Mitzrayim. Then they had some portions for those that left. When did this portioning happen? Afterwards? After they got into? I mean, did anybody get a card on the way out of Mitzrayim that says you're entitled to a piece of land? And then if they died, so it went over to their kid, and then So then, if they was all given out after Mitzrayim, so how could you give it out when they're going to Eretz Yisrael? It must be either it was all given out later based on their credentials, or they had separate chalokim given out. It almost lahavdil in Yonah D'Yoma, lahavdil, like playoff tickets. You're a season ticket holder, you get right away. Then you can, partial season ticket holder, you get this. Is that too mudna marshal? I don't know. But that's what it sounds like went on over here. Anyways, so those are the three shitas. So then the Gemara says, so now who left? Nobody, everybody died that left Mitzrayim. So what are you saying? There were those that left Mitzrayim and those that made it to who? It wasn't Negea.
I
So
thought there were the 15,000 people that didn't die the last year, right? Weren't there 15,000 people that's why they waited from Tisha B'Av until Tu B'Av?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
Is that
Okay.
the way? Yeah. Is that?
I
Is that-
thought there was. I
what's
thought
the-
the last 15,000 didn't die in the Midbar.
I'm saying, the source for that, or
I think it's in Maseches Tainus, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure. No, I don't
no?
know.
I'm saying I just wonder when. Meaning, is it Chumash level source that would have to fit into the story? Is it again? I don't want my apikourses to come out. Or is it like a medrash that a side medrash that somebody says and then they disagree? Am I saying too much now?
It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what my source is for that.
Yeah. Oh, you find it. If you find it, please, Adarabba. Where Reb Dave? Where's Reb Dave? He's not on.
Ask Aaron. He was there.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, so those are the three shitas. Yeah. So okay. So now the Gemara says, "Meraglim Yeshua v'Kalev notul chelkom." The Meraglim, Yeshua and Kalev took their chelik, right? Which is also an interesting thing, right? They took their chelik. Mislainim, which is also an interesting one. The Mislainim are the ones that complained. Vadas Kairach and Kairach's chevra lo hayolem chelik ba'aretz. They didn't even get a chelik at all. Right? Habanim, but the kids from these people, natlu b'schus avi avian, they took it based on the schus of their grandfathers, meaning their grandfathers were good people. Their fathers were rats. So Mamela, their father, they jumped their fathers when they got their grandfather's chelik. Ubeschus avi and also the grandfather from their mother, the mother's father.
How lucky did they give out?
I don't know. As I'm saying, I don't know how it worked. I don't know.
The father got, grandfather got.
Yeah. Every person leaving Mitzrayim got, yeah. Right?
So they already had their own Salek and now they're getting more?
Yes, no, they're gonna get more based on their Yerusha from, they're gonna get more.
It would have been so easy to say that
Yeah.
the first nachla is what they got coming out of Mitzrayim because they came out with a lot of zaken, and the second nachla is what they get in Eretz Yisrael. Why couldn't we just learn it that way? That would have been so simple. Why this reportioning? What can you say? This is what you have now, and you yarshin this, and then you get there, it's Israel. That's yarshin that. I don't know. Why is that so complicated?
I don't know.
It's something. It's very interesting. I was trying to find the source. It says it's in Maseches Tainus that it talks about the 6 reasons why we celebrate Tu B'Av. The first reason is that they didn't die. The last 15,000 didn't die from Tisha B'Av to Tu B'Av. And that's how they knew that the Gezerah was lifted. The second answer, it says, is the daughters of Tzlachad, who were inheriting from their father. There were no sons, so the land would not pass from one tribe to another. That's one of the sources there also, is the B'no Tzlachad.
Interesting. So it's, 1 second. So then Mamela, did they end up dying? They didn't end up dying.
They did not die.
So then what we do with this Gemara?
They got 2 inheritance. Why doesn't that fit? They got the portion for leaving Mitzrayim and they got the portion for entering. Why wouldn't that work? Besides Yoshua and Kalev, you have another 15,000 people that would fit that bill.
Right. So why is the Gemara only saying them? Unless they yarshened. Unless they yarshened more. I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, but the point is, the point that the difference between the Meraglim with Yeshua and Kalev is that by the Meraglim, Yeshua, the Meraglim had a chelik in Eretz Yisrael, and Yeshua and Kalev got to take all of it. Right? The Mislainim and Kairach didn't even get a chelik. Right? Meaning because of that, everybody split their chelik. Meaning, I don't know how many Mislainim were there. I think somebody asks that that everybody was Mislainim at some point. Everybody complained. So I don't know how that's. I forgot somebody asked that kasha.
Who's kids? It says the fun.
The grandkids, no.
Ooh.
What do you mean? The kids of the Mislainim? I mean, the kids.
Not Rashi, but the
Your
Rashbam.
kid didn't get it?
The Rashbam, it says, Mislana, that's,
Was it the Rashbam?
yeah, down below, almost,
Oh, it's the next daf. It's going to discuss it. It's going to discuss. He quotes the next daf. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up the dafim. Anyways, but the point is, the Mislainim and Das Kairo didn't have a chelik, so everybody else got bigger chalakim. Huh?
Saying you said the Bonim, please Bonim.
The Mislainim and
And Kara.
Yeah.
Moran.
not the Meraglim.
They were worse than Kyrie?
The Meraglim just went to Yeshua. I mean, were they worse? I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I hear. I don't know. Okay, so let's see. So my mashmid, the high. So now going back to the original Machlokes on Aleph. So we said L'shmois matas avoisim. We said it's talking about Mitzrayim. It doesn't say in the pasuk it's talking about Mitzrayim, but that's what we learned. My mashma, the high L'shmois matas avoisim b'yot Mitzrayim. Ksiv dilma l'shvatim kamarla. Maybe it's just talking about the shvatim. It's not talking about Mitzrayim, right? Tichsiv. So my answers Tichsiv nasati oisel lochem my rasha ani Hashem. It says I'm giving it to you as an inheritance. I am Hashem. Yerusha hi lochem me'avaseichem. It's a Yerusha from your fathers. Mitzrayim ka'amar. And it was said for those that left Mitzrayim. Right? Meaning, it was a promise from Hashem to Moshe to the Yidden that anybody that leaves Mitzrayim is going to have, I guess, I don't know if it's a schar for going through Mitzrayim. I'm not exactly sure, but, right? Right, so that's how we know that the pasuk is, right? Meaning that's how we know that the pasuk's referring to those that leave Mitzrayim and not referring to the Shvatim. Okay, so we could stop over there. Yeah. So tomorrow the Gemara will continue with kashas on all these, on these shitas. Say a tillim. Oh, I gotta hit stop the record. Hold on.
How long?
How you doing?